Let me tell you about our ACT practitioners community. I started our online group to help therapists, counsellors, psychologists and coaches who want to learn acceptance and commitment therapy by practicing it, sharing ideas and discovering as much as possible to become highly skilled in the ACT approach. Our members live and work all over the world. People often join us after having completed an introductory ACT course or read a few ACT books and then fell in love with the ACT model and decided that they wanted to know more. While many have had access to clinical supervision or consultancy, they felt it wasn't enough. And I can understand that because it wasn't enough for me either. I'm Jim Lucas, an ACBS peer-reviewed ACT trainer based in the UK. And I've been using ACT in my work and supervising ACT therapists for many years. I first discovered ACT in 2008 when a colleague showed me a journal article about the tug of war exercise. We liked the sound of it, and after trying it out in a group, I quickly realised that ACT contained something different. I trained as a cognitive behavioural therapist and was interested in the humanistic models. ACT seemed to bring them together that ticked the boxes. ACT integrates the solid behavioural principles of CBT with the humble therapeutic stance that you find in person-centred psychotherapy. It was then that I think I knew I wanted to learn more about ACT. And I quickly discovered that it wasn't going to be easy. There weren't many ACT therapists around with whom I could share experiences. ACT supervisors were rare, and I knew that I needed to learn more if I was going to develop my skills. I started going to ACT workshops and shopped around for supervisors. It took some time, but I eventually found a supervisor with whom I wanted to work. I've worked with them for many years and they have been brilliant, and I sincerely appreciate their support and teaching. Despite the fantastic support, I continued to feel isolated. I felt my interventions were too formulaic and I would talk about ACT more than doing it. I knew I wanted to become more experiential, but I wasn't sure how to go about it. A turning point came after my first ACT conference when I met some local ACT practitioners. We decided to set up a peer consultation group and started practicing together. Rather than talking about ACT, we did it. We used each other for ideas and feedback on ACT-consistent interventions and missed opportunities. Undoubtedly, it has been critical to my development as an ACT therapist, supervisor and trainer. Many of the challenges I encountered continue to exist today. Many of the ACT practitioners community members have felt delighted to finally find a group of people with whom they can learn. Together, they feel optimistic about their professional development, knowing that they can ask others for support when they get stuck. So what do we do in our ACT community? Well, we have weekly live sessions, including an ACT practice session and a case conceptualization clinic. Using the ACT peer-led consultation approach called the Portland model, you can participate in small group practices. In there, we don't talk about our work or present cases. Instead, we use role plays to learn experientially. Our case conceptualization clinics allow you to bring your case examples, questions, and areas where you want guidance. Together, we help you define the problem using functional contextual principles to pick the best treatment targets. We have an ACT resources library containing worksheets, videos, audio recordings, guides, slides, and book recommendations. Throughout the year, you get free access to online workshops, which I turn into modular courses so you can revisit the content at a pace that suits you. I talk to our members to identify gaps in people's knowledge and skills. In our first year, we covered ACT case conceptualization, how to become more experiential in your ACT therapy, and how to enhance exposure treatment with psychological flexibility. We have frequent challenges, polls and questions to share our perspectives and build connections. I feel we've learned so much together and that there's so much more to learn. I'm excited to discover how we evolve as a group and to ensure that we stay close to our purpose, which is to become highly skilled in the ACT approach. Learning isn't always easy, of course. It can feel scary, and it's natural to think that you don't know enough, that you'll be embarrassed or exposed as a fraud. I think many of us suffer from imposter syndrome. It's part of the human condition. And so with this in mind, we ensure that our community feels like a supportive learning environment. We root our culture in 3 essential values to help us build a warm and brave community: kindness, appreciation, and curiosity. People learn better when interacting because it's scary. You don't know people and worry about looking silly. Many people stay quiet when they feel uncertain, so we focus on being kind above all else. You feel closer and more connected when you trust that others won't embarrass or shame you. It makes it easier to step outside your comfort zone, take risks, and open yourself up to new learning. People respond well to appreciation too. For example, if you receive appreciation from others in the group after doing a role play, you'll feel encouraged to do it again. As behaviourists, we seek to embody the principles of reinforcement with warm hearts to learn ACT from the inside out. When you don't understand something, you unintentionally fall into judgment. You don't choose it, but it happens, and you feel bad for it later. Curiosity is a powerful antidote that opens your mind to new perspectives. Contextual behavioural science is vibrant and progressive. I love it because it holds truth lightly, seeking improvement and following the data for what works. By being curious, you expand your mind, improve your relationships, and support the development of behavioural science. So why not come by and meet our group? We'd love to meet you. By joining our community, you will place yourself on a new path. You'll build relationships with ACT practitioners around the world. Hopefully, you'll feel excited and optimistic about your professional development, recognizing that you can turn to others for support when you get stuck. By committing to regular practice, reflection, and training, you can travel the road to becoming a highly skilled ACT practitioner. Whether you're a therapist, coach, psychologist, or in a similar helping role, you're welcome into our community. Together we can learn the ACT model from the inside out, developing your competencies and building proficiency. Through routine, deliberate practice, you can deepen your understanding and refine your skills so that you know what to do no matter the problem or pattern of behaviour. By developing an intimate relationship with the principles and processes that underpin ACT, you'll hopefully discover that you can rely on the ACT approach to help a diverse range of people. Through ongoing practice in a group setting, the ACT model will start to feel intuitive and you'll feel like you've found your tribe. By continuing to invest in continuing professional development, that's CPD, you'll place yourself at the heart of a scientific approach whose primary purpose is to develop a system more adequate to the human condition so that we can more effectively alleviate suffering and advance health and well-being. Learning on your own is often much harder, I think, and by being part of a group, you can accelerate your development. Whether you're a novice, advanced beginner, or already fairly competent in ACT, it doesn't matter. I think you'll gain so much from other people, and we can adapt what we do to support your learning, whatever your strengths and needs. We are here to help you become highly skilled in the ACT approach. We'll help you move from talking about ACT to working more experientially In other words, shifting away from trying to teach understanding to shaping behaviour will help you build new ways of responding to clients' difficulties through real-time feedback, and will help you choose the best interventions for your clients by developing an ongoing functional analysis and case conceptualization. Join us to learn more about creative hopelessness and self as context. Explore ways to adapt for different problems such as depression, anxiety, trauma, interpersonal difficulties, anger, stress, burnout, and adjusting ACT for neurodiversity, cultural and gendered or sexual differences. We're a human family. We cherish our differences and celebrate our shared humanity. In the words of Maya Angelou, we are more alike than unalike. With my help and the group's wisdom, you can take your next steps to becoming a highly skilled ACT practitioner. Take care.